What's up, y'all? It's that Sports Kid here with my 2023 Maryland Terrapins season predictions. They could be one of the better teams in the Big Ten. I'm excited to talk about them. Let's get into it. We're going to do just a little bit of an off-season review here. Last year, the Terrapins went 8-5, and this year, sportsbooks are projecting them to win between 7 and 8 games. They do play in one of the hardest divisions in football, so that's a pretty decent over-under, I'd say. There are lots of returning starters, 5 on offense and 6 on defense, but 5 players in the offseason were drafted. Good for them, making a lot of money now. In terms of recruiting, Maryland had the 34th best class and the 26th best transfer class. Their top commits, these players will be freshmen this season, is Michael Harris, who is a top 30 linebacker in this class from Florida, and Rico Walker, who is ranked 209th in the country and plays defensive edge. The transfer portal brought in a lot of players this season. 5 4-stars and 4 3-stars were part of this class. Caden Prather, I think that's how you say it, is a 4-star receiver transferring in from West Virginia. Gottlieb Iades, I butchered that. He is a 4-star offensive lineman transferring in from, I actually don't know where, because the 24/7 website link wouldn't work. So if you know, you know. Tyrese Chambers is another receiver transferring in. This guy is from FIU and is a low 4-star, 6'1", 175. Pretty good player. I think he was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Good for him. Then finally, Jaquan Shepard is the last 4-star transfer I have on the board. Plays cornerback, and he is transferring in from Cincinnati. All 4 of those guys will be starters. 2 new receivers, and offensive tackle and the cornerback. 2 other players will also start, coming in from this transfer class. My personal ratings for Maryland this year, I'm giving them an 8 for offense, so should be pretty good. I'm excited to see maybe 33 plus points per game. Defense, not so great. I think they brought in some good transfers on defense, like Jaquan Shepard, but I don't think they're going to be great, and it'll be difficult to keep all these Big Ten offenses below 20 points, probably. Here we have the schedule. Schedule difficulty is a B-. They do play in one of the most difficult divisions in all of college football. Then they also scheduled some crummy out-of-conference games and got quite lucky with their Big Ten West opponents that they're playing this year. Let's get into it. Towson, they are FCS. They are probably the easiest team on this schedule. Should be a big win for Maryland against the Tigers. Charlotte and the 49ers are the next team. They're not very good. They played last year, and Maryland won big time, I think. Should be another big win for Maryland. Next is UVA, one of the worst teams in the ACC. It's a power program, but I think Maryland should win that one pretty solidly. Next up, and the first Big Ten game, is Michigan State. This is a division game against a team who did not go to a bowl last year and is going to struggle to get to one this year. It's on the road, but I don't think that makes much of a difference, and Maryland should get that win. Next up, we have probably the worst team, maybe the second worst team in the Big Ten this year, Indiana. Another team in the same division. This game is at home, and I think it should probably be an even bigger win than Michigan State. Indiana, I don't know if they're even trying with their football program. Yeah, should just be a very dominant win by the Terrapins. Next, we have probably the most difficult game on the schedule. It is Ohio State on the road and the Buckeyes are coming off of their bye week. Very difficult game. I could put that one in the big loss category, but Maryland played very close against the Buckeyes last year. I'm thinking close loss, like within 17 points. Ohio State should win this game pretty confidently, but because Maryland played them close last year, I'm gonna keep it in the close loss category. Next up, we have Illinois, who I think is going to be a pretty decent team fighting for the second or third place spot in the Big Ten West. I will say this will be a close win for Maryland because it's a home game. They do get a bit of an advantage there. Yeah, that's all. Next up is Northwestern, another Big Ten West team. On the road, I don't think it's going to matter. Northwestern is having some coaching problems. Go look those up yourself. I'm not going to talk about them here. I don't think Northwestern is going to be much better than they were last year. They were 1-11, maybe 2 wins for Northwestern, and this game is not going to be one of those. Next up, we have Penn State, definitely one of the top 3 teams in the Big Ten East. I am going to put this as a close loss for Maryland. I think of the big 3 teams in the Big Ten East, Penn State is probably the most beatable one. It is a home game, so there's no risk of a Penn State whiteout. Those are always just terrible to play in. I do think the Nittany Lions are going to get a good conference win in this game, sadly, but I'm pulling for Maryland in that game. Next up, we have Nebraska on the road in Lincoln. I am going to put as a toss-up. I think Maryland probably could win that one. I don't know how good Matt Rule is going to be at Nebraska in his first year. I think Nebraska overall has been very good recently at keeping games very close and then losing them. So this could be a close game, potentially a Nebraska upset, but I think Maryland probably should win this one. More of a toss-up because I think it'll be pretty close. Michigan is the next team on the schedule. They are back-to-back Big Ten champions, and they should win this game pretty solidly. Just like Ohio State, they're very good, and this game was also close last year, I think. Finally, we have Rutgers. If you're still watching and you're a Maryland fan or a Rutgers fan, let me know in the comments, is this an actual rivalry, or is this just forced by rivalry week? Let me know. Anyway, this should be a good win for Maryland on the road in New Jersey. Rutgers is not going to be great, but I think Maryland will be, maybe not great, but they should be pretty good. They are absolutely improving their program. They went from bowl-less for a while to back-to-back bowl games in these last 2 seasons. And I think they should definitely get back to another one, probably a pretty decent one. I'll break down my record, my projected record of 9-3. Should be 8 wins, pretty solidly, over Towson, Charlotte, Indiana, and Northwestern, as well as Virginia, Michigan State, Illinois, and Rutgers. Potentially an upset in the Nebraska game. I could swap this Nebraska spot for Illinois, as Illinois is one of the better teams in the Big Ten West. Probably interchangeable. I don't think they'll lose both of them, but maybe one. Then you have the 3 big schools in your division. Didn't beat any of them last year. I don't think the year before either. Potentially, man, if they could beat one of those teams, they could solidify themselves as a pretty good school in the Big Ten. Only one of those wins, and I think they do that. I think Maryland's very slept on as a program because historically they're not great, but I think they will be this year, 9-3, maybe a New Year's 6 if they finish with a 9-3 record. yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, peace.